Hello, welcome, wherever you are, whenever you are. My name's Steve, and I'm starting a brand new channel for the upcoming Orioles season. And this is the first podcast, or at least somewhat of a podcast that I'm going to do. So expect things to be completely disorganized, no real direction, no real sense of purpose. But hey, that kind of describes Orioles baseball for the past 35 years or so, doesn't it? Listen, here's the deal. I've got a new channel, and I'm going to be a streaming channel that will be covering and giving commentary on every regular season Orioles game for the upcoming 2024 season. It's a project that I'm looking very much forward to taking on. I know it's going to be a challenge. I live halfway around the world from the East Coast of the United States, but I grew up there. I'm a huge Orioles fan, and I want to stress that to any other Orioles fans out there that might be finding my channel. I get it. You search through the internet, you look for content with your favorite team, and you listen to a pundit, and you're like, who is this guy? What does he know? Is he a real fan? This guy thinks that. Look, I understand. I'm going to have to earn everybody's respect when it comes to covering the Orioles. But what I will tell you is this. I love the Orioles. I love the Orioles as much as life itself. I don't know how else to tell you. I was born in 1977. I grew up in PG County, Maryland, between Baltimore and Washington. And if you grew up during that time, you understand. If you watched baseball, it was Baltimore, the Orioles. If you watched football, it was Washington, the team that can no longer be talked about. Those are my teams. And when it came to the Orioles, it was always just number one for me. The 1988 season, I was 11 years old. And that's the year they began 0-21. And that's the year I really fell in love with them. Unfortunately, their last World Series appearance and win in 83, I was 6 years old. I was too young to really understand or appreciate what was going on. But I began to follow the game of baseball in the later part of the 80s. I vividly remember the 86 World Series between the Red Sox and the Mets. Or the 88 series with the Dodgers and the A's and the Gibson home run and all that. And, I've been an Orioles fan diehard since 88. So when the 89 season came around, the why not season, that's when my love affair grew into it was ridiculous. Everything out of my mouth was Orioles talk. I annoyed my friends my age, and I completely made adults around me puzzled at this, like, Rain Man sort of, like when it would come to statistics or anything else, like, I was just spitting them out nonstop. So the question is, Steve, well, what happened then as a kid, and now that you're a 46-year-old man, past his prime, gray in the beard, what are you doing now? Well, up until last year, I spent about a decade as a sports writer for NBC Sports, but I was covering the Premier League, the English Soccer League. It was part of my ambition, a part of a larger project to grow awareness of the sport of soccer/football in America, because as an American growing up, I loved that sport, but the only time I ever saw good quality soccer was when the World Cup would come around, because on TV, maybe you'd find an MLS game. Other than that, if you wanted to see the best players in the world, well, you were just out of luck. But somewhere around, the early 2010s, I guess, some of these sports cable packages started offering the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, all the top leagues in Europe. And people started to follow the sport more. So I was like, you know what? This is what I want to write about. I have knowledge of it. And as an American with knowledge of it, gives me a bit of an advantage. So I did. And I was very happy working for NBC Sports. I was in my 10th season when things kind of fell apart. Unfortunately, the department wanted to lean more toward the sports betting angle of things. And I'm not the type of person that wants to be responsible for giving people advice about what to bet on. It's just, if you want to bet, that's fine. I just don't want to be responsible for what can be somebody's addiction. I mean, gambling is an addiction. You can do it and not be an addict, just like drinking. But yeah, again. So we parted ways, and it all kind of happened in a way that really worked out well for me, because the Orioles, meanwhile, a team that I had to neglect in order to do my other job, different hours, covering a completely different sport, 24/7. I just did not have time to follow the Orioles. But now, starting at last year, right when the 2023 season was beginning, I suddenly had a brand new schedule open. And I thought to myself, well, what do I want to do? I started a YouTube channel. Not this channel. I got another one. It's not sports related, but that has been what I've been doing for the past year. And a few months ago, with some encouragement from some other fellow YouTubers, they said, you really should do an Orioles channel. And when I took a look around, I was noticing quite the lack of Orioles coverage on the YouTubes. I will shout out the ones that I do see, and I think you guys should follow as well. But I'm sure they're names you know already, like the Locked On Orioles podcast. Connor Newcomb, I believe, is the name of the host for that. The Baltimore Banner will give you some news. There are some places out there, but no one is going to be covering the Orioles quite like I plan to for the upcoming season. I'm going to be giving live play-by-play and commentary during the games. You won't be seeing the video, obviously. It's copyright stuff, but you may have noticed there's live sports streaming for other teams and other events, other sports. But I don't see one yet that's dedicated specifically to the Orioles. So that is what this channel is going to be all about. And I want to let you guys know about it, okay? Now, look, you're probably saying to yourself, Steve, you got a hat. All right, maybe you're a bit of an Orioles fan, but why is your background so stark? Most of these sports channels, everybody's got all this merch in the background. There's jerseys and hats and fancy, bobbleheads and stuff. Look, I travel light. I live on the other side of the planet. I've got a backpack and one piece of luggage. So I travel light, which means I can't really collect things. My Orioles collectibles are sitting back in the States. But what I do have here for the new channel is a nice little, it's a very simple but I think classy looking poster that it'll be up here, right behind me. That way you got a little something to let you know. All right, he's an Orioles guy. By the way, hello to Rishi Rich, Pool, and Maria in the chat. Thanks for the likes and the hellos. Right, so in case you've been living under a rock, well, welcome to reality. The last 24 hours or so, as the title of my video implies, has been a huge moment in Orioles baseball history. We have new ownership coming in. The Angeloses are still going to be hovering around, but they are no longer going to be calling the shots. And 24 hours after that news broke, we got our first huge example of how, the reins are being passed over, because who we got? Dave Rubenstein and the rest of this new ownership group, which includes Cal Ripken Jr. Fantastic. I can't wait to see Cal and just I've got so much optimism. We'll talk about that too. But let's just go over the bullet points here, which is one, the Angeloses are stepping down as the majority owners. And once Peter Angelos passes away, the deal will be completed in its entirety, where the Angeloses will step aside completely. Now, it's an interesting thing because I'm really not into the whole ownership stuff in terms of like team value, and I mean, just finances. Finances really aren't my thing. I'm about watching talent. I understand the game of baseball. I'm good at strategy. I think I'd be a pretty good manager, to be honest with you. But when it comes to like GM stuff, it's not really my forte. But taking a look over here, even though the Orioles were sold for $1.75 billion, according to this article here, people in the industry think that Angelos really, let a steal go away for $1.725 billion. People are saying across the board that it's a low offer that Angelos accepted, mainly based on the fact that the team is already in a position to be a team that wins a lot. You're not taking over a team in disarray. You're taking over a team on the cusp of being not only a contender, but a legit World Series title push team. And, of course, it's kind of weird and gross, I have to say. Although you understand it, but the Angelos is part of the reasoning behind the timing of the sale and the way they're doing it sort of gradually is trying to avoid, I believe, is it the estate tax? I don't know. Apparently, if they were to sell the team fully before Peter passes away, they stand to lose a lot of money. Whereas if they don't, then there's money. So even when it comes to family members dying, when you're super rich, you got to sit there and make decisions around, your family members dying. It's weird, gross, rich people stuff that I can't even identify with on any level. So I'll just leave that one alone. But who we do have coming in here is Mr. Dave Rubenstein, right? Perm the Germ. Hello, RC. You can call me what you want. It's just that when a nickname clearly isn't catching on, I don't understand why Cam just keeps doing it over and over again. Like it's like that famous line from Mean Girls. Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not happening. Right? You keep saying fetch, but nobody's catching on. Yeah, Dave Rubenstein. Who is he? What is he? Let's talk about him. Well, he's one of the founding members of the Carlyle Group, which, I'm not going to sit here and again act like I know anything about finances, but look, this dude is super rich, all right? He's got Michael Arrighetti, Michael Goldstein, Michael Smith, some philanthropists, Cal Ripken Jr., Rubenstein himself, a Baltimore native, lives in the D.C. area now. This looks like a passion project to me. This looks like a guy who is stepping down from all of his CEO positions and what have you to put all his focus on turning this Orioles team into a winner. And I like it. And again, that brings us to item number 2, which is, oh my God, a day later, we went out and grabbed a Cy Young award-winning frontline ace starting rotation, top of the staff, in his prime pitcher, Corbin Burnes. And not only do we pull off a trade like that immediately after this ownership changing news, but we get him without losing hardly a thing. Now, I say that, let me put a stipulation on that. It's not hardly a thing because I have a lot of I think DL Hall is really, really good. From what I could see watching the Orioles down the stretch last year, and particularly once we were in the postseason and getting the crap beat out of us with every pitcher we threw out there, the one pitcher that was consistently shutting guys down was DL Hall. He's got some nasty stuff from the left side, and I like having left-handed pitchers on the rotation. It's kind of like stacking lefty batters when you play at Oriole Park, because if you got a good lefty pitcher, that's gonna shut down left-handed hitters. Your Juan Soto's, who are some lefties in the AL East? Are we running out of them? All right, well, let's just use Juan Soto as a primary example. It's nice to have a left-handed pitcher to hopefully, of course, Soto's the type of person that can hit. You know what I'm saying. Lefties in the lineup, you come there, you got a lefty pitcher, you shut him down. Righties in the lineup, well, they got to contend with hitting a ball over the left field wall in Baltimore. So, and that's why we're stacking left-handed hitters. We go after the porch on the flagpole porch out there in right, and we limit our right-handed hitters. We got Ryan Mountcastle. He can hit it 450 feet. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. So what did we give up for Corbin Burns? We gave up DL Hall. But when you think about it, A, you needed to give up a talented player. It's just, that's the name of the game. So, but B, what makes me less, apprehensive about losing DL Hall is that the Orioles, if we're assuming that DL Hall is a relief pitcher at this point, and I don't see him stretching out to be a starter, although the move to Milwaukee, maybe part of that is the Brewers offering Hall a chance to start. But again, the stuff that he just seems really good in short relief. Just make him throw 20 pitches really hard, and I think he can get the job done for you in the late innings. You don't even have to play matchups. Lefties, righties, I feel comfortable with Hall out there shutting down the opposition and the best part of their lineup. I think his stuff is that good. The Brewers have themselves a really nice piece in DL Hall. But again, the Orioles, if you look at their bullpen, you got Danny Coulombe, you got Cionel Perez, and who am I leaving out? Isn't there another lefty in there? Let's look at the Orioles roster right now. 2024. I want to say there's one more lefty, but basically what I'm getting at is that we've got at least two other like middle relief lefties in the pen. So to lose DL Hall, I was looking at Connor Newcomb's projected final 25-man roster, and with his bullpen, it had Perez, it had Coulombe, it had, of course, Hall, and I think there was another lefty in there, and I'm like, God, do we really need 4 lefties in the pen? That's a lot. So in other words, yeah, we're losing a good player in DL Hall, but when it comes to the way our roster is made up, I don't think we're losing a lot. My other channel is I don't know if you're going to like this channel right here. It's not a sports channel, but I'll throw it into the thing for you. And so then you look at the other piece this is me right here. Okay. Ta-da. You can sub over there. You can be number 324 on this channel. But I got a feeling this channel now, the Oriole Birdwatcher channel, is going to pass this channel up in subs by the end of the year. All right. So, again, getting back to this Corbin Burns trade. DL Hall, yes. We lose DL Hall, but again, I think I've explained why, even though he's a very talented player and I'd hate to see him go, I think we can afford to lose him. And again, you're going to have to give up something in terms of like a ready to play for you in the majors. We're getting Corbin Burns, folks. We are getting a Cy Young award-winning pitcher that's still kind of in his prime, right? 29 years old. And here's what I love about the deal, guys. And I haven't even talked about Ortiz being the other piece. But here's what I love about the deal is that everyone's going about, oh, Dylan Cease, you get 3 years control. Oh, go for Luzardo, which I would have loved to have traded for Luzardo. 4 years control. Talking about all this control. Corbin Burns is just a year. But, guys, you got to think about it this way. And you got to look at it from Corbin Burns' perspective, which is he's going to be pitching for a contract. Now, whether or not it's a contract we can afford, I don't know. But it's the same situation Juan Soto's walking in with the Yankees, where it's like if he comes out and absolutely blows the league away, he stands to earn himself a gigantic payday. So Corbin Burns, yes, he's coming over for only one guaranteed year with us. But it's a year in which he's going to be pitching for a big contract. So he's got all the motivation necessary to be the ace of our staff. So that's a really good way to look at it. And then you look at what we're losing to get him. I would have been very upset if the Orioles let go, I don't know, a Kauser or a Kerstad as a part of this deal. If we would have let go Westberg, if we would have let go, obviously, of a Mayo or, obviously Basalo or Holiday, I'm not even going to include in the conversation. But you're giving up two guys, D.L. Hall and then Joey Ortiz, who, if you're an Orioles fan, you already know this. We have absolutely no place for Joey Ortiz. And he's now 25 years old. His tag is being a top whatever prospect, top 50, top 100. It's coming to an end. We have to cash in on him now while we have a chance, while he still has some value with some upside or whatever to his name. Now, do I think he's going to be a good major leaguer? Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty good. And for a team like the Brewers, if he's going to be batting like 8th or 9th in the lineup, playing good defense for you at shortstop every day, giving you like a 270 average, maybe, somewhere around 10 homers, 10 steals kind of guy, that's a major league shortstop. That's fine for the bottom of your order. But for the Orioles, we've got studs in our infield that are going to be hitting middle of the order. We don't really have a place for Ortiz. So he was a piece that no matter what trade we made, I was like, well, you got to include Ortiz in the deal. And with this trade, I can't believe it. We would have had to have given up so much more to go and get a Luzardo than we wind up having to do to get Burns here. So, just Ortiz, D.L. Hall, and then a compensation pick, which is something like the 34th pick in next year's draft, which, of course, that could turn out to bite us. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it's up to whatever we would have picked at that spot. But I feel like if you look at Mike Elias and the rest of, the GM staff, when it comes to the draft, the Orioles have been crushing it ever since Elias has been in charge. So I don't really mind losing a draft pick. I feel like Elias has his eye on players that on other teams wouldn't even pop up on their page till we're like round 5 or 6, but he sees something in them, So, maybe we lose a spot, but whatever guy we might have grabbed there, we might be able to grab with the next spot. I'm not worried about it at all. Okay, so we look at this Orioles rotation now, and how do you not get excited? How do you not get excited? I mean, everybody's been saying it. I don't care if you're a huge fan. I don't care if you're just sort of a fair weather, just kind of have an idea what's going on around baseball fan. Everybody understands that the one major piece the Baltimore Orioles needed was a frontline, top of the rotation starter. And now that we have it, you look at this roster, you look at that rotation now, man, it looks good. Bradish now becomes a 2, and he's a 2 with upside. And look, Bradish has had a breakout season last year, but we understand pitching can be very volatile season to season. We have to expect that Kyle Bradish might not be as good as he was last year. We have to, deal with that maybe Dean Kramer isn't as good this year as he was this past year. Because let's be honest, Dean Kramer kind of popped up out of nowhere to be a really good starter for us. And guys like that, you can look through the history of baseball. Every year there's guys like this. They come up, they have that one good season, and that's all you ever get from them. So I can totally see a situation where Kramer comes into the 2024 season as the Orioles' number 5 pitcher. But if he goes out there and starts getting knocked around after a few starts, well, now, because we've sort of pushed the depth chart down, now Dean Kramer, if he's not effective, let's bring Tyler Wells back into the mix. We've got him on standby. If that's not working, Cole Irvin, kick the tires on him. So it's not only about bringing in this frontline starter, it's about lowering the burden for every pitcher beneath, and it's just a domino effect, a positive domino effect all the way through the Orioles pitching staff. So you've got you're picturing now a postseason like 5-game series where you're looking at Burns and Bradish and Rodriguez as like your 3 guys. That sounds pretty good to me. I'm predicting that Bradish might have a little bit of a regression for the coming season, simply because he outperformed everyone's expectations. And you never know. Maybe there's a little something in his delivery that other teams might pick up on, or something. You never really know. We'll just have to wait and see. But if Bradish can give us 75, 80% of the production he gave us this past season, he still earned himself a spot in our rotation. No problem. He's going to help us. But what I'm thinking is, even if Bradish goes back a little, I think Grayson is going to step up. So there might be a situation where we're looking at Bradish as a 2 and Grayson as a 3. But by, I don't know, the All-Star break, we might be switching those names around, where Grayson looks more like a 2 and Bradish more like a 3. Either way, it's a good problem to have, right? And then you got Means, who used to be our number 1 just a couple of years ago. Right before he had surgery, he was our number 1. Now he's coming back. Now he had a cup of coffee late in the year last year, pitched enough innings to get sort of his stamina and everything back. Between that, the winter, and then spring training, he should be coming into this 2024 season, like ready to go. Like the gloves are off, let him go out there and pitch six plus innings on a every 5-night basis. I think he can give us 180 innings again. So you got that as your number 4 now. What was our number 1 is now a number 4, right? And then again, like I said, you round it out with Dean Kramer. And, if Dean Kramer starts to, if anybody starts to screw up, Tyler Wells is waiting by, at least for the first half of the season. We all understand what the deal is with Tyler Wells. He can be a starter, but he's only got about 100 innings or so in him before the wheels start coming off. So it's a decision that's probably going to be made in spring training. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if Wells looks good as a starter in spring training and Kramer has any sort of negativity around him, where maybe they push Wells into the role and put Kramer as a long reliever. Because, again, why not go ahead and get what you can from Wells as a starter? And then if you need to make that midseason change, then you go over to Kramer. I don't know. There's probably a way to do it that makes a lot of sense that I can't figure it out in my head right now. But I'm sure the Orioles are looking at that as a way to manage innings for guys like Wells and get the most out of these arms. But, man, this arm coming in. I won a 113-49 record. God, look, I said it as soon as this past season ended that the chances of the Orioles repeating 100 wins is going to be very slim. I might have already said this on this stream, but the point is, even the great teams out there that are quote unquote dynasties have been deep into the playoffs for several years. I mean, you look at like the Yankees from like the late 90s or whatever. How many 100-win teams in a row did they have? I don't know. It's hard to get to 100 wins on any kind of regular basis. So we got to 101. In my mind, I'm like, all right, next year we might only win like 95. But, that'll still put us in the playoffs. Maybe we won't win the division. But, we have what it takes to, as we've seen with this new or semi-new playoff structure, it's really not a big deal to come in as a wild card team. You can go far as a wild card team. It's been proven. And if you're, if you're a division winner and you're not ready, kind of like we were last year, you can get knocked out pretty quick. So anyway, God, let's talk more about Burns. This is just so, again, my favorite thing is when you look at Burns' numbers, they have sort of been less impressive since that crazy season he put up a few years ago. But again, I really feel like when it comes to pitchers who are established, who can pitch, but still kind of fluctuate between great and just kind of good. A lot of it is mental, in my opinion. A lot of it is mental for these pitchers. I don't think Corbin Burns was happy in Milwaukee knowing that his days were numbered and that he was going to get shipped somewhere and just sort of living his life day to day, wondering when the other shoe was going to drop. And again, now he's going to be moving to Baltimore. He's moving to a team that he knows is a contender, and he's going to be the ace of a 100-win team playing in the AL East. You got the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays and the Rays. You got a real challenge ahead of you, and you're the leader of this staff, of this up-and-coming team. But look at these strikeout numbers these past 3 seasons, plus the innings pitched. He went over 200 innings 2 seasons ago, and last year just missed with 193 and 2/3. This is a 200-inning guy. Just that alone, guys, is a tough thing to find in modern baseball. A guy who can go out there and give you like 34 starts and eat up 200-plus innings, or somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 innings. But then you got the strikeout totals, 234, 243, 200 more last year. This guy strikes people out. And you could see in his Cy Young season, I mean, just every number. I mean, league leader in so many different categories. Actually, he made 33 starts 2 years ago, 32 the year before. So, yeah. But, yeah, you're looking at a guy that, he stays healthy, or has, and can give you 200 innings, give you 200 strikeouts, give you a low ERA. I mean, what do you want? He won the Cy Young back in 21, and he's been at least in the mix for the past 4 years as far as votes go. This guy is one of the elite starting pitchers in Major League Baseball, and he's now a Baltimore Oriole. I'm so fucking happy! All right, I dropped an F-bomb. Sorry about that. He had to play against Cubs and Cards. Well, here's the one thing. First of all, it's not how it used to be, and this is one of the things I learned when I started watching baseball again, and the past couple of seasons now, is that the schedule, it's not unbalanced anymore, and I'm sort of mixed feelings about it, because I feel like a division means something, and winning a division and playing your division opponents, like, for 100 of your 162 games or whatever, it makes it more special. But pretty much now, we only play our division. We have like 2 home and away series all season. It used to be like 3 apiece or something. It used to be like an extra 6, 7, 8 games a year you'd play against everybody in your division, but they cut back on that. So it's not as, there's not as much effect on the division. That being said, though, I cannot wait to face the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Rays. I've already seen some of these pundits from these other teams. They are freaking out right now, worried about us Orioles. Yeah, no more DH in the National League. A lot of stuff has changed since I was an everyday baseball aficionado. But trust me, I've picked up on things quite quickly. I'm wondering now what other potential moves the Orioles might think about making now that it's clear that, the gloves are off and we're ready to spend. Whoa, look out. There went my poster. Sorry. I'm getting a little bit sweaty. You'll have to forgive me. Maybe I'll just keep this short and sweet, even though I've already kept it long and not very sweet. I don't know. What are we at? Like 20 minutes or something? How long have I been talking? 33 minutes. Wow, time flies. Okay. Right. I guess I'll go ahead and, whoops. Yeah, that looks good. Fantastic, Steve. I guess I'll pretty much leave things there. There might be a couple of more points I want to make as I read over some things. So basically, yeah, the most exciting thing about all this was that I was assured that we'd lose Kjerstad or Kauser or Westberg. We're not losing any of those guys. So now we're like, okay, we're keeping Ramon Urias and Jorge Mateo. They're around. Mateo should be basically a bench option. He's great for pinch running, great as a defensive replacement, emergency outfielder. He's got all the little attributes you need as a good bench weapon. You got O'Hearn and Mountcastle sort of splitting time between first base / DH. If we're going to have Santander in right field, I'd really like to see Santander move to DH. Maybe have Mountcastle and O'Hearn platoon, and then maybe try to stick Cowser out in right and see if he's ready. I don't know. Or maybe you put Santander in right. Maybe you give Kjerstad a chance to DH, and again, keep Mountcastle and O'Hearn as a platoon. It just seems like the Mountcastle-O'Hearn platoon thing was working really well. Both guys, we're getting the best out of both of them. So I feel like if they keep up that recipe, we're fine at first base. And again, we can move the DH around a lot. We'll probably see Adley DHing again a lot because it gives him a chance for more at-bats, being a catcher and everything. Typically, it's hard to get 500 at-bats as a catcher, even if you're playing, as the bona fide number one guy. It's just, you got to take a game off every week. Well, the DH helps that out a bit. But yeah, so even if Jackson Holiday isn't called up immediately, it's like, okay, so we got Gunnar, maybe at short. We put Westberg at second, and then Urias at third. I mean, I'm okay with that to start with, assuming Jackson's going to get called up after like 1 month. I don't know. We'll see. Again, you got guys like Connor Norby. Maybe there is a guy like Norby who has a really good spring training and earns a chance. But clearly there's a direction that this team is going in. It knows its strengths. It knows its weaknesses. And yeah, we got Burns now. The next step, and I don't think this step is going to be approached until the sale of this team goes completely through, which I guess can happen until the owners meeting next weekend. I believe it's in Orlando. After that owners meeting, I guess maybe we can start to figure out exactly when the changing of the guard is going to take place. But it's happening now already. Again, it's pretty clear to me. As soon as this deal was brokered, they're like, okay, Mike Elias, you got a trade lined up? Go ahead and pull it. And they pulled it. They got Corbin Burns. And I don't think they're done. I do not think they're done now. Here's Ripken's tweet. I am excited to once again be a part of the Orioles organization. I thank Rubenstein for including me in the ownership group. Oh, boy. What a day for the Orioles. What a day. What a day. I mean, the ownership news had me giddy like a schoolgirl. And then I woke up this morning to the news of Burns. And the first thing I said was, well, my God, what did we have to give up? What did we have to give up to get him? And when I saw that it was Ortiz and Hall and that was it, I did an Irish jig for about 15 minutes in my apartment here. Yeah, this team is looking good. Man, if Mullins can stay fit. Also, remember Dylan Tate, as far as our bullpen goes, and we're losing DL Hall. Dylan Tate, if he's healthy again, that's an arm that comes in to kind of replace Hall. It's a righty versus a lefty, but again, we've got a couple of lefties in there already. So if you're looking at Craig Kimbrell as the closer, if you're looking at Ynier Cano as the setup man, and then you're looking at playing matchups in the 6th and 7th innings, you'd have two lefties, two righties. You're looking at Cionel Perez and Danny Coulomb on the left side, and then probably Dylan Tate and Jacob Webb on the right. Am I missing somebody? Who's next? There's still a few options out there. Mike Ballman. I don't want to see Brian Baker anywhere near us. Tyler Wells should be in long relief. Him and Cole Irvin, that would make sense. You have one lefty and one righty long reliever. You got two lefties and two righties in middle relief, and then you're set up in your closer. This team's ready to go without any more additions. It really is. I mean, there are ways to improve it. You know, we let Aaron Hicks go, so the depth in our outfield is a little thinner. But again, if Kowser and or Kjerstad can kind of take that jump up, become an everyday player or nearly everyday player, I think we're good. I think we're good. All right, guys. That's all I had to talk about. Again, please, if you don't mind, hit the like on this video. It's going to help my channel grow. Brand new channel. I don't know if you figured that out yet. And also, subscribe. Because if you're an Orioles fan, you're going to want to be subscribing. I'm going to be around in your ear every day, and we're going to be on this journey together. And I can't wait. Now, one thing I will say that's a little bit daunting is that there are expectations now between new ownership and going out and landing a Cy Young Award winner to lead your rotation for a team that just won 101 games but stumbled in the playoffs. There are now expectations, which means it's going to be tough. If I'm watching the Orioles and they wind up with a season of like 80 and 82, that's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. But we can't act like it's not a possibility. How good were I know the Padres finished up with a pretty good September. But I swear, the Padres, look at the makeup of that team and the money they spent. Everybody was expecting them to, at least make the postseason. If not, be better than the Dodgers in the division. Yeah, they barely had to win. There you go, 82 and 80, just like I'm saying. And that's winning their last 5 games in a row and going 8-2 down the stretch. They had to go on a run just to get a winning record. Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Blake Snell. God, how many people on that team that, if they aren't making a lot of money, I don't know. But yeah, it's tough, man. Houston only won 90. Texas, the World Series champs, only won 90. The Phillies only won 90. It ain't easy to win 100 games. So for us to do it a second year in a row, it's going to be difficult. But I felt like if we went out there without picking up a guy to lead our rotation, then we were setting ourselves up for, maybe not making the playoffs again. It's tough, with these wild cards and so much competition in the AL East. If we were in the Central, I'd be whistling Dixie. I'd just put my feet up and say, call me in late September when the playoffs are about to start. But no, we got to contend with 4 other teams. All right, maybe the Red Sox are kind of scuffling, but at least 3 other very good teams that are hungry to win. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Again, guys, please like, subscribe, be a part of what will be a magical season for these Baltimore Orioles. I'm going to be here every day covering it. Once the spring training games get underway, I'll also be covering some of that. I just can't give you any ideas to which games or what, because it'll all be sort of on the fly. Spring training is a little bit weird. But once the regular season's underway, 162 games, that's the goal. And, that's it. All right? Ain't the beer cold, folks? Ain't the beer cold. I tell you what, the Orioles, after the last 24 hours, are in the win column. In the win column, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. Orioles for life. This is the Bird Watcher. I'll chirp at you later.